Tom told me
Come on, come up here. You'll like this up here.
that it's more interesting. There were some guys parking in the state park. They walked to the Troyer field into this bus, and they showed them a handful of nice nuggets.
Hey, come here, Frank. There's the Troyer field. See that pile of rocks up on the hill right there? That they piled up so they could see it? Where to go down in the wash, see it? See that big pile of rocks? Yes. Okay, go up here, you're going to see the piles of dirt where they were cleaning that all along this ledge. So on this trip, one of the particulars we're looking at is we're north of the area of the spiral. And what interested us was Andy Sinbad had worked that area. Andy very particularly attached to the spiral. And we haven't been able to completely rule out the fact that they might have been going through that alluvial for gold. Now, it could be, and it's been known to happen, where they dig, find a little placer, they start going through the alluvial, they find pockets. Woody and Frank found one such as that. And it could be that one led to another to another. Now, we're not going to put a high percentage on that possibility, but you have to go out, explore the area, put the time in. You have to look at the claims. You have to check with other people. So we're not going to sit there and show you me sitting at a computer for hours as I'm going through various claims, different sites. I'm talking to people on the phone, Jack Carlson, and I'm going talking to Steve Bowser. I'm at Greg Davis's collection. I'm at the Historic Site collection. I'm looking at just whatever source I have to see who was in the area over the last 50, 100 years. And I'm trying to add the stories and the data and as we go out. And we're very particular, so this gives you some insight, maybe the little longer open kind of space there. Now there's particular number of things that will happen, but sometimes this is a 6, 8, 10 hour day of us just doing this and kind of trying to put the pieces together and find the pieces of the puzzle, because sometimes you're not just building the puzzle, you have to find all the pieces.
garbage, I bet.
.22.
Larry found a spot back here. He found a bunch of big nuggets. Filled one of those big pill bottles full. The gold witch said, "Look at Larry, there's gold over there."
Yeah, well, that's what you're doing, and you're not finding any. You found a bullet.
Huh?
Found a bullet. Are you going to search up here or down in the wash?
I was just trying to bench up here. Go back in the wash.
And the wash is pretty clean.
Particularly need on this type of thing is patience. I know it's easy to say, well, just go in there, just go do this, just go do that, hurry up and move. But you want to put all the information and everything relevant into the basket, sort it out. You want to talk with each other and take all your resources and see what you're dealing with. So having been south of this area, now we're north of this area. And there's a couple of attached stories, and of course Andy Sinbad, but there was a story Tom Kollenborn said. He was riding through the area, and we didn't have a specific area. It was a very general statement. We went through pretty much a whole thicket of choyas, and as we came through those choyas, it opened up and we found two guys, and they were prospecting, and they were finding some pretty good gold. Unfortunately, we really didn't have a year to date this. So I was kind of like keeping that story in the back of my head. Tom knew Andy very well, so if Andy would have been attached to this story, Andy and his partner Broderick were out there, but I don't think it was them, because Tom would have said the names, or Frank would have picked up on the names because he was aware of them. So in particular, it's a story like you're scouting, you're looking, Frank's going through and patiently having to go through. So it's good for everybody to see. It's like that. I have to wander, because just to stand there and watch someone film someone do that, it requires far more patience than I actually have.
More casing.
Right next to the other 22.
Which means somebody was shooting.
Right through here. Here, Frank, we'll make you a bracelet. Actually, a choker.
You gotta say that you can beat yourself when you feel bad.
I don't ever feel bad.
We go out, a lot of trips you see Frank's safety, I'm going down the rope, or we have different roles we fulfill. And in this particular case, Frank, with his gold monster, is looking for gold. There's no reason to have two of us with detectors and Trevor's jumping between us, and you're just seeing what we're doing. Frank is very, very skilled at what he's doing, very professional, very meticulous. So I'm going to entrust him to check those sites. If there's something I think needs to bring his attention, I need to point out, I'll come back and show him. But for the most part, what you're seeing is I'm wandering off, so I can be a quarter mile off, and I'm zigzagging and working ridges and working flat areas and then circling my way back, come back, check on them, see what they're doing. You guys find anything? Okay, anything particular? I get either a word or something or a nod from them, and I come look at it, or I just turn around and I start heading back out. We cover a lot of ground. I might do some filming, but I'll take pictures of anything I find interesting or kind of GPS it and then bring us to it later. So there are roles within. Standing over Frank and carrying the pickaxe or something like that just seems a waste of anything I can do. And in this aspect, the two of us working two different roles entirely is what worked on this trip. Now, we both have the knowledge because we're going to share knowledge, like I said earlier. We're going to understand when I do research, I'm going to talk to Frank on the phone. We usually talk once or twice a week, and we talk and I tell him what I found about something. He'll tell me something he found in some files or something he discovered, and we share that and always keep it in the back of our heads as we're out exploring. So you have these different things that you're doing and kind of keep it in the back of your mind. So I know what Frank's looking for. So I'm looking geologically and looking for different areas that someone might have worked, but at the same time, I'm looking beyond that. And that's knowing your particular roles and trusting each other that you're doing those roles properly.
What is that? See it? Is this a metal or? It's metal.
Toast or something?
See this? The washes converge. There's a hole right through there. Let's see through it. That one kind of gets choked off, so I'd go up this way.
See how little that is?
Yeah.
Teeny little piece of foil. The reason I picked this spot because the stuff falling off the hillside
Mhm.
is more likely to be something in there than a piece of junk getting caught. But there's a little piece of foil. Somebody was digging here.
Yeah, I see.
There's another one.
Mm-hmm.
It's an unusual shape for a bullet. Tom told me
Come on, come up here. You'll like this up here.
that there were some guys quarking in the state park. They walked their cholla field into this brush, and they showed them a handful of nice nuggets.
Hey, come here, Frank. There's your cholla field. See that pile of rocks up on the hill right there? That they piled up so they could see it? Where to go down in the wash, see it? See that big pile of rocks? Yes. Okay, go up here, you're going to see the piles of dirt where they were cleaning out all along this ledge of the roots.
So finding the miners' camp was interesting because Frank wanted to tell me about the story he'd already told me several times. And I'd been out in front of them probably a couple 100 yards. And I looked over the area and I saw every sign that they'd been working that area. It was very extensive, the camp that had been there. What I thought was pretty interesting was they had abandoned the camp at one time and the cans were still sealed. So they had rusted through, there's nothing in them anymore, but they were still sealed, so they had been staying in the camp. The other thing that kind of threw me off was there was probably about a 12 to 14 inches of the stuff was buried in there. Now, I don't know, maybe they buried their trash and they were burying their trash near the site. And then as the bank has eroded away, it's revealed the source of where they buried it, because it was odd finding the glass embedded in the wall 12, 14, 15 inches down, and it wouldn't have layered. It wasn't that old. I mean, that would be thousands and thousands of years to cover it like that. So it appears more likely at one time that tree in that wash was far smaller, and the tree was out on a bit of an island out there, and as they worked and it eroded away, there was a trash dump that they were burying their trash in, and we revealed that. There were forks, there were cans, and some of the cans, like I said, were unopened. There were some, it looked like plates, porcelain and stuff. So it was very interesting because you're getting kind of an idea and being able to date and realize how much earlier this camp is. And I really think it was the one Tom talked about, but we don't have a date. And that's kind of the disappointing thing of, like, it would have been, you know, this is the kind of trip where you go, wow, it would have been great to call Tom and say, hey, we found the spot, this is where we're at. And Tom would have been able to confirm, is this the spot, or did we find something completely different that seems to relate right to his story? I'm pretty sure, since his story and the cholla and everything else falls into place, that we're in the right spot. Now, obviously, someone's worked the area since then. They must have found it, not really messed around with anything, and they basically started digging around there and sorting through and dry washing down in there. And I wouldn't think they found much gold, because it looked like they might have spent an afternoon or so, and then they probably just gave up and all that. So then what we have to do is continue down. Now, we found the one post, I believe it would have been northeast of there. So as we traveled southwest through there, we found that other post. Now, I don't know if those were claim posts or they were posts for something else. They could have been for fencing or something for the ranches out there. This would have been, most all of this still would have been, back in this time period, probably part of the First Water and the 3Rs and the Barkley Cattle Company area. So it could have had something to do unrelated with the mining claim and earlier than that. And it's hard sometimes to date exactly what you're looking at. You can take some glass or cans or some certain things physically. But we left a lot of the stuff there because we wanted, I think it's always enjoyable for people to come by a site like that. And if they just happen to be in the area and they locate it, it's very cool to find all those old cans and all that kind of stuff that has probably been sitting there for 60, 70 years or more maybe. So it's cool, because I think there's a very cool factor for people out exploring doing that. There's no reason to take it home because it's just kind of trash at this point. But it is interesting, and then people can kind of like, oh wow, there's these guys, and they can look around and get a feel for the real history of the area.
Yeah, told you. dirt. They were sifting it.
That's it.
You don't have to tell me the story. I found it. You can tell, see up there on the roots?
Yeah.
You can see where they were digging up around it, trying to get all that loose dirt down in, see from the roots?
Yeah.
They were coming over here, and they were sifting it.
What this is a dry wash pile.
Yep, I
So
know.
fine it is over there.
Yep.
A lot of times the bigger stuff will fall at the back.
They were coming up through here. They would look over for that pile of rocks, and then they would come down into this wash. That's where they were marking it. And it looks like this was the primary area they worked in, because there's just a little bit here and there you can see they dug. But there's nothing up along here. This can's still sealed.
Huh.
That one's been opened. This used to be here a long time. I don't know what this stuff is. Oh, this was a camp long time ago. Look at that. See that back in there, Trevor?
Yeah.
Where the bushes have grown over it all?
Yeah.
It's all buried. And see the glass in here? See
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
So, it's been here so long, the glass is buried and embedded. See it down there, Frank?
Yep.
The glass is all embedded down in here, the cans. I don't know what this is. I don't know. Look, check that out. What's that? Is it a meteorite? What is it? Is it iron?
There's iron in it.
Yeah, all these cans. So there was an older camp here, and these guys came in and found wherever these guys were working down through here. See what I'm saying?
Right in here.
Yeah, but you can see someone was finding some gold,
Yeah.
and there was a camp, and that camp is old. That's an old camp because we can tell by the debris in the wall. It's all through the wall. You can see the rust in the wall. So where this stuff's just been buried down in here.
Yeah, look.
Yeah. So whoever came in here came in much later. This has got me curious. It's got rocks embedded in it, so it's not. I thought it might be meteorite, but it's not. Oh, Trevor, here.
Huh.
Another telltale story. The post.
A what?
Post.
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 A post.
Look at the post.
Yeah.
There's a post. See? So I don't know.
So was this a claim?
I'm sure it was a claim. Old claim
Yeah.
from a long time ago. I'm going to go up and look up on the top side behind this tree.
All right.
See what's up here. You can look along here. Yeah, there's all kinds of cans, lids, debris, all through here. Dang. If you want, you can go around that way, down that way a little, come back up here and hit this a little.
So as we continue on, it's important to note that this is all research and development of what we're doing. So it's not we forget one goal, we have to put everything in there. There's a lot of eggs go in that basket. There's a lot of pieces that you're trying to sort the puzzle, and you never know. It can be pure luck, or it can be something that doesn't seem very related, and then you can just find out later, oh, I didn't understand that. So all it takes is one little thing. So finding that mining camp was kind of something we hoped to do. Wasn't expected, but was a possibility. But then Frank, I think, is getting pretty disappointed because he's hoping to find some gold, because that's what we were told. There was some good gold running up and down through there. There had been enough rain, there had been enough movement. We expected to find something. You can see in the embankments that there's been plenty of just a lot of dirt moving. And yet we were coming up pretty dry. We were coming up with some relics, some old cans, bullets, things like that. So there's the disappointment, but it's also ruling an area out. And there's times where entire episodes of we can spend 8, 10, 12 hours metal detecting, finding particular things that in the moment seem very interesting to us. But if we showed you the hours and hours of that footage, you would just fall asleep. And that's problematic because we're trying to educate, we're trying to entertain, and we're trying to inform people and do a number of different things, but we're not trying to put you to sleep. This is not about knocking you out for the night. So we have to find that balance, and sometimes these trips are a little kind of relaxing. I almost wonder if we put a little background music, if everybody would snooze away for the entire episode and watch all the episode to the end because of that. You never know. But I think as we move ever onward with this, we're kind of covering and starting to circle into our own spiral, coming back in to the spiral staircase. And there's a lot of information we're going to bring in and a lot of information we're going to pull as we delve back into that. And it like I said, it's very interesting, and it could be something as everyone completely feels it cannot be a mine, but we could find out in the end it was just some guys, and I've seen it before. They go absolutely crazy. They find some pockets, and they will dig to China for one or two pockets they run into, and they might only come out of there with a few $100s or a couple $1,000s of gold, but they will spend 10 times that much, continue to follow it. So I have to understand is none of that makes sense for having gold mining, but there are people that will literally do the craziest things. And always in the back of my mind, everything that happens is, Bob Schuess's words, it's a hallucination. And I find that more and more there's a little bit of craziness associated with this. So it's been cool. It's been a cool journey, and I couldn't ask for more at this point.